Hi, I'm Candice, this is Mothership, and today we are talking chore wars. Did you know that behind fidelity and a happy sex life, sharing chores is ranked third highest in a happy marriage? Let's talk about it. Let's dive in. Chore wars. Who does what and where?
Well, I definitely would say we split it down the middle with my husband. That needs to happen to make everything run smoothly. Yeah. How about you?
So we have a seasonal reset whereby whereby every season we'll split the chores, and then they slightly more creep towards her. But I do things around the house. I'm designated cook.
Okay.
I do the school run every morning, so she gets a little lion every morning.
So you are quite balanced then.
I'm hands on.
It shouldn't fall on the mum anyway.
I know, I would admit it's completely unbalanced in my house. I do very little. I'm unashamed to say that. I know I'm really lucky, but I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't iron, I don't wash up.
Did your husband do everything?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well done. Well done, girl, for finding him. What a catch. Yeah.
Don't say that. Close your ears.
You must do other things.
Oh yeah, of course. And what do we think about the it's not even an idea, it's common knowledge that the one who's at home, so the stay-at-home mum or stay-at-home dad, picks up most of the responsibility when it comes to chores, emotional labour, picking up the kids, dropping them off. Agree, disagree?
I know at the start of my relationship with my missus, there was a lot of miscommunication where I assumed certain things because I would go off to work and then come back and then the kids would jump on me. I'm like, oh, I'm tired, and then she'd be like, look, I've had the kids all day. So then, because we weren't
both exhausted,
we weren't talking about things. It was two trains on the same track. But once we actually started opening up and explaining how we actually felt, then there was space for compromise and we could figure out where we can fit in with each other. Yeah. But I do think it's all to do with communication.
Yeah, 100%. And also it can often feel overwhelming at that point that maybe you are struggling or... I mean, I had a traumatic birth of my first child, so for me, things, trying to sort out a home and deal with all the emotional stuff that came with that and keeping this little person alive and well, it's tough. So I think that's critical, just having the confidence to talk.
Well, it's funny, they mentioned that behind fidelity, obviously, and a good sex life, hopefully, that equality in chores makes for a really happy marriage. So I think it is something we do need to speak about. Because I remember when I first had my kid, there was so much pent-up anger when he comes home and expects a home-cooked meal. And it's like, hold on, this child's been cluster feeding all day. I haven't even eaten. And I think a lot of... relationship breakdowns happen so early on because you're not speaking about tiny things like who should be doing the washing up and who should be changing the bed linen. I have some interesting stats here. One study found the men who do more housework have wives who want more sex. If that's not an excuse for you to go home and polish the floors, I don't know what.
So that's what it is.
Nothing sexier than seeing a guy with a hoover.
I must say, I find my husband more attractive when he's being helpful.
Yeah, I can get that. I totally get the whole cleaning stuff. Yeah.
Second stat, another study found that the children of men who do more around the house do much better socially and academically. That's really interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's to do with, having purpose and duty. I think a lot of kids, especially once they get into puberty and stuff, they don't really have a purpose. So they just, and I suppose having a purpose isn't really something that you want to push on a child when they're quite young. But I think as they grow older into their teens, I think a lot of kids lose their way. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we have with children today. And I think that's why they get lost in their tech and their gadgets, because it's just an easy escape as opposed to trying to focus on yourself.
And I think what this stat relates to is that if the father is doing more of the cleaning anyway, it's likely that the parents have got a healthy relationship generally, that they're dividing things, they're having open conversations, they're seeing their roles, so they're there for the child equally as well. So I think it's got sort of a knock-on effect. It's not just necessarily about the cleaning.
Emil, have you heard of the term emotional labour?
No, I haven't.
This is really interesting because I only came across it the other day. Emotional labour is basically where you're thinking constantly about all the things that need to be done. Now, funnily enough, I admit I don't clean in the house, but I'm always the one that's like, right, she's got her nursery play on this day, then she's got to be collected, then we've got this birthday party on Saturday. My husband says to me, he's like, if you don't text it to me, it's not going to happen. So even though I'm not physically cleaning, my mind is always in the state of what has to be done, when it has to be. I feel like a walking diary.
Our kids need assistance. That's how bad it is. It's like, you've got to remember the sports kit, you've got to remember the uniform. That's change. It's the Christmas nativity. It is overwhelming. Yeah. And I remember when my child started school for the first time, I was like, wow. I think even though I've got an equal relationship with my husband in terms of, everything, I am the one that worries a lot more. I think naturally I'm a worrier. He's very chilled. So I'll be thinking about stuff. And also because he's so chilled, I think, what if we forget something? Even though he won't and I can trust him, I worry. Yeah. And also there's certain things that I know I'm a little bit better at. I know it sounds awful, but you with me?
Call it how it is.
It's like, if I was to say, go get a birthday card for someone, I don't know what's coming back. Yeah. So there's certain jobs that I'm like, oh, let me take ownership of that. Let me get the birthday present. Let me, and it's not because he doesn't have good taste. He does, but sometimes there are things that I'm a control freak, I know. But there are certain things that I want done in a way that I want them to be done.
So Theresa May... No opinions. Theresa May did mention something a bit sticky about there being boy jobs and girl jobs. And I would say, leading on from emotional labour, whenever my husband has to collect our daughter, I'm like, ring, ring, ring. Even if I'm on a job, I'm like, are you there? Do you have her on time? And he's like, I'm her dad. Why would I not? But in my mind, and I know this is wrong, I'm like, I'm her mum. I'm never going to be 1 minute late for her because that's my duty. Do you believe that plays a lot of part of the stress about there being boy jobs and girl jobs?
I think that it's really okay to say this boy job and girl job. It's not a great message for our kids. I take the bins out as much as my husband takes the bins out. Why wouldn't a woman take a bin out? Why wouldn't, that's like, I love cars. And even when I took my car to the garage, I was having a chat and the guy's like really surprised that I know about cars. It's like, I know about my car. I can drive my car.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's just these stereotypical notions, but they're limiting us. They're limiting our kids.
And they're also really one-sided because my husband never rings me to see if I've collected our kid onto him. He's not like, are you there?
Is it that you naturally want to micromanage generally, or is it that you're used to since maternity leave? Does that set a precedent that we never let it go, whether we work full-time or not? What is it?
I think it totally does. I think it really, really does. I just feel like it's my duty because that's how it was since the very beginning.
Since maternity leave.
The issue was then I went back to full-time work and taking on that emotional labour with my actual job. I just found
it's exhausting.
I literally imploded, which I think helped push me out of the workforce because I just felt like I couldn't do both those things well at the same time. Whereas my husband is bossing it at work because he's not thinking about who's collecting the kid or thinking he has to leave if she's sick.
I don't think there's anything wrong with checking if your partner's picked up your little one from school. I mean, if it gives you peace of mind, ask away. Like, we're only going to tell you, the child's fine.
Even if they're not, right?
Oh, well, I think it depends as well. No, because in some instances you don't want your partner to worry. So even if there's a little bit of a leeway,
management.
Let's say for instance the child's got a cold, the child's not fine, but we've got it, so it's cool. So you just chill.
I like him. So, to close, we have consulted good old Google to see how you can get your partner to help more.
Okay.
So, number 1, appeal to their sense of fair play. If they care about you, they should want to help out more. Number 2, get a cleaner to do the deep clean. Yes. Thank you. 3, don't be afraid to be more assertive. Running a house should be a joint effort. 4, however, don't be controlling. Lower your standards. You would rather have a happy relationship than an immaculate home. Number 5, schedule a daytime to do housework and make it fun. Any thoughts on that?
So when we do our seasonal reset,
Seasonal? What is a seasonal
We're going to
reset.
start like, trending, hashtag seasonal reset. Yeah,
Seasonal reset.
exactly. Yeah.
No,
Feel it
do you know
coming
what
on.
it is? We'll designate the chores, and then after a while, start to become a little bit slack, and then the missus will crack the whip.
This is honest.
Got to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we designate a little bit of accountability. So she'll say that, okay, look, that's your stuff to do. You need to get onto it. I'm like, all right, cool. Because it's growing children. It's very easy to get lost in what you're doing.
true.
It's unfair on my part because obviously she's got her own stuff to do as well. It's just she's a little bit more focused than I am.
I think if men of the world knew the sex stat,
I know.
a revolution would be underway. I think that we need to make that known.
I don't even know where my opinion fits in on this. Get a cleaner to do. Like, I am so down with the cleaner, man. Like, people will upgrade to the latest iPhone and
Yeah, but they won't pay for a cleaner once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if it's within your means, go
Yeah.
for it. If my parents did come round and they saw that, or if they found out that we had a cleaner.
Really?
Okay, fair point. Yeah, I didn't think about that culturally. Cleaner on holiday when parents come round. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So what is our collective advice for putting an end to the chore wars?
Don't attack each other. Maybe just have a nice open conversation. If you feel that it's unfair, that you're pulling your weight more than your partner or vice, talk about it. And then, make a plan.
Yeah.
Make a plan.
Totally.
So this is what we're going to do and we're going to stick to it.
Or if your kids are old enough, you can pay them to do it.
Yeah,
I love
good
that.
idea.
I love that work ethic. They get a bit of cash. Yeah. I'm down
Cleaning
for
the
that.
car. Remember, you used to always
my
clean
God,
the car as
cleaning
a
the car. Oh
child.
my God.
And it's true. Let them work.
Yeah. Guys, where do you stand on chore wars? Are you doing all the cleaning? Are there boy jobs and girl jobs? Comment below. Also, what do you want us to talk about? We want to hear from you. See you soon.
What?